Good morning and welcome back to Lurie's Furries, where you learn about animals and learn how to pronounce your teacher's name. So this past Saturday, as we all know and hopefully enjoyed, was Halloween. It was also the night of the full moon. Given this confluence of circumstances, I feel it is my duty as your science teacher to have a serious talk with you about wolves. So, of course, we have we have the taxonomy, which you should be comfortable with by now. Kingdom Animalia, they're animals. Chordata, they're vertebrates. Mammalia, wolves are mammals. Carnivora, we all know wolves. They're the meat-eating bunch of mammals, and we've seen several carnivorans already in the show. Family, Canidae, the dog family, and we have Canis lupus, the wolf or gray wolf, if you to be somewhat more specific. But when people say wolf, they usually mean this one. And the reason why is, well, first let's see wolves in general. So here's a typical wolf, 3.5 to 5 feet long, about 2 3/4 foot high, ground to shoulder. Average weight is 88 pounds, but that can fluctuate quite a bit. Wolves, as I'm sure we all know, are carnivores, and they're carnivores up at the top of the food chain. Wolves mostly eat large prey such as deer, moose, so forth. But of course, if they have to, they will eat smaller things, or they scavenge, or occasionally eat some plant products. But most of the time, they hunt big game. So, the pun I could not resist, werewolf. So here we have a map of current range of wolves, roughly. They're found pretty much throughout the northern hemisphere. You'll notice two conspicuously absent areas of wolf on the map. One is most of Europe doesn't have them, and the other is that most of the US doesn't have them. Of course, originally both of those areas had plenty of wolves. It's just that humans have settled and killed them off. So, really, anywhere in the northern hemisphere should be wolf territory, and much but not all of it still is. Alright, so let's get into the werewolf myth and the moon. Of course, werewolves don't exist. I don't think you need your science teacher to tell you that much. Real wolves, however, there's a legend about them howling in the moon, but no, that does not happen. Wolves do howl at night because they howl whenever they're active, but wolves do remain active into the evening. But they're not howling at the moon, and studies have shown that they howl pretty much the same amount regardless of the moon phase. Wolves are really howling to communicate with other wolves, because wolves are social animals. They live in packs. They're territorial, so each pack has its own specific range, and so wolves will howl to communicate with their other pack members, to communicate with other packs. Hey, get lost! This is our territory, and so forth. The other aspect of werewolf myth, besides being supposedly scary monsters that come out in the full moon, which is nonsense because there are no werewolves and wolves have nothing to do with the moon. The other aspect of the myth is the romance novel aspect. So the young adult level, there's things like the Twilight series, and of course there's plenty more adult romances involving werewolves and wolves in general that you probably aren't going to be reading for a good long time. But let's talk about the romantic element, because there is a kernel of truth to those stories in that wolves are monogamous. They take mates for life, although once the mate dies, if the surviving partner is young enough to do so, it'll go find another mate. There's none of this pining away upon death thing. But wolves do mate for life, which is of note. And wolves, as I said, they live in packs. But what's important is that in the real world, packs are just family groups. It's it's a mated pair of wolves and their children. Maybe they take in some extra wolves from elsewhere if they need some help hunting. But wolf packs are families. So in the romance novel world, you typically have a notion of a dominance hierarchy, which was once thought to be scientifically accurate, but now we know it's not. So the scientific basis of that was from outdated research done in zoos. So basically, if you take a bunch of unrelated wolves, throw them together in an enclosure that's too small for them, you're going to get a rather neurotic behavior pattern, which is not typical of a natural wolf packs. And so scientists at one point had recorded this artificial wolf pack behavior of wolves that were thrown together that shouldn't have been, and thought that that's how wolves behaved, which is not. Alright, there's our notion of wolves. They're not monsters. They don't howl at the moon. They're ordinary predators that exist, throughout the world, or at least the northern hemisphere. They're an important part of the ecosystem because there's not very much else that will attack the large prey. And well, nothing supernatural, but they're still cool. Alright, information, as usual, Wikipedia, because, again, wolves are commonplace. I don't need to find anything exotic to learn about wolves. Alright, so that'll be all for this week. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great week, even if there's nothing spooky left.